What did I do with the picture? Shoot. Oh, here it is. Change my thumbnail real quick, and because we're live now. Let me just give my team a call, let everybody know that we live. Let's see if I can text if it goes through with everybody. Ooh, different team. Let me see so I can. I just want to thank everybody for coming. We running through our last minute details before we get started. I want to thank uh Alpha for showing up. I see he got it set up now. Good, Alpha?
Yeah, I'm good over here, man. How are you?
I'm good, brother. How about yourself?
I can't complain, man. It's been an eventful week. We got a lot to talk about, man. Every time we
Yo,
think we
you
got
said
something,
it. Yo, you said it to me. You was like, yo, this week's gonna be crazy. I'm like, every week's crazy.
we was sitting there. I said, nah, this week was gonna be a set off, man.
Yo, this week is crazy. This
Every
week
day there
is
was something new this week. I didn't know whether to just clap, applaud, or just sit there and say, Lord Jesus.
well, I mean, it's kind of what we expected.
Not on
There's a
this
lot to
level.
talk. What's up?
Not on this level of idiocy.
It's what I expected.
Man,
Because we
look,
knew the Epstein files was going to be released. We knew they wasn't going to they wasn't going to extend the subsidies to the ACA. So
we
that
knew
in and
that.
of itself
And then
was
we knew Jim Jordan was gonna lock Jack Smith in the office to put a twist on the independent counsel
absolutely,
investigation on the Russians, man.
absolutely.
We knew they were gonna
But
listen. We got a lot to talk about.
the January 6th joint, like, but truthfully, there's so much going on that's actually the back burner because the what we're trying to do.
Right now,
So
niggas in civil war mode right now. You got Ben Shapiro and Tucker Carlson going at it at the what event they have this weekend?
oh, I
Yesterday,
missed that.
you missed
I
that?
missed something.
Oh man,
Yeah.
Tucker went on stage and like crashed out. He really called them out. Bishop Shapiro and Tucker
Word.
Carlson went out of it. Then you got Nicki Minaj on stage today with Erica Kirk talking about the young men should not be like Gavin Newsom. They should be like Donald Trump. I'm just like, Lord, what's going on? Yeah, this was an
I
eventful
missed
7
that.
days.
I mean, again to be expected, but I'm this is my thing is not the live is not showing up on my feed, and I'm trying to get my live to show up. It's showing here, but I'm trying to send it out, and then we can get started. We're running a little behind them. I don't know why it's not just sending it out, or why it's not showing up on my phone so that I can get going. Because, like you said, man, there's a lot to discuss.
I told you, but you ain't believe me. You was like,
Now I
man,
think it was gonna be like I mean I knew
listen,
that it
it's
was
the
gonna be
end of the
crazy because of the
year.
ACA, which is huge.
But with
And
the
then when you
ACA
throw
though,
in the
there's a real backstory to why they want to get rid of why they don't want to fund the ACA, right? And it goes all
hold
the way
up, nah, I don't. But you're gonna have to give me a minute before we talk about that.
it go to
We're gonna have to get into.
2017.
We're
It's
gonna have to
all
dig into
set.
this.
But this week was
Damn, that sounds crazy. Let me just.
I'm afraid for what the new year holds.
You should be. We all should be.
3 tankers that got frozen right now in
We're up to
Venezuela.
3. Wow, it's happening faster than I could cover it.
Southcom is already moving. Troops are being moved. Trinidad has granted access to the U.S. military. Brazil's president Lula of Brazil done said what he needed to say. The president of Colombia done needed to say what he said. It's right now. It's like it's showing me like signs of 1998, 1989 Panama. If you know, you know. But it's just wild out here, man. They putting these young servicemen
I
in.
knew I was gonna have to call. Send you the link, bro. Let me make sure that I'm sending the right link to everybody, and then we're gonna get started.
Excuse me.
Oh, I'm sending everybody the wrong link. Oh, I didn't get the. I'm sending everybody the wrong link.
Listen, it's an eventful week. I understand why you said it the wrong week.
Nah, that means it didn't load. Okay, here it is. No, 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 don't do that. Don't do that. Don't do that. No, 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 no. Don't put that on blast. That's the link. I'm sending the links so that people can know we're on, so we can have a little fan base checking in while we rocking out. Oh no, I don't want to admit her. See that? Whoa.
Hmm. Oh man, something just broke.
What you mean?
Trump just recalled 30 career diplomats from around the world.
You just did what?
He just recalled 29 mission chief ambassadors to 29 countries, 13 of them in Africa.
Record him doing what?
Nah, he's purging the bureaucracy of the he recalled all the top ambassadors to 29 countries. 13 of them was African. The Guardian in London just broke it. Wow.
What did he record them doing?
He recalled them.
Recalled? Oh,
He's recalled 29 ambassadors. Burundi, Cameroon, Cape Verde, Gabon, Cote d'Ivoire, Madagascar, Eritrea, Nigeria, Rwanda, Senegal, Somalia, and Uganda.
hold on. Wait,
He's
wait,
on
wait, wait,
some
wait.
boy some shit.
All right, we're officially about to get started. Hello, and welcome to the Think Tank. We use critical thinking, deductive reasoning, and just a pinch of common sense to draw unbiased logical conclusions. Today, my normal co-host, Dion Powell, the Honorable Dion Powell, is on vacay. And sitting in, that's about to give us a whole different worldview based on the things going on, is my boy, Alpha. Alpha is he has an insight on these things that this I think that this audience will really enjoy. Feel free to hop in the chat box, talk to us as we going. We're about to get started. We're gonna get to what you was just talking about in a minute because that right there seemed cray cray. But let's start it off with what everybody's here to talk about. So Mike Johnson, I call him Moron Mike for a reason.
Idiot Mike.
Moron Mike, Moron Mike Johnson shut down the House for vacation to stop discharge petition about the ACA subsidy extension. For those of you who don't know, the ACA is basically the Affordable Care Act. It's Obamacare. It is the thing. It's the Affordable Care Act marketplace that is known as Obamacare that allows millions of Americans to afford their health insurance. There was a debacle where the entire government was shut down for the longest time in history, trying to extend tax credits for said Care Act, because without it, health premiums double, triple, and even possibly quadruple for many Americans. Millions of Americans are about to lose their health care. And so it just happened that this occurred the day before. This was Thursday. On Friday, the day before Friday, which happened to be when the Epstein files were supposed to be released. This all came crashing down together. 8% of Americans, up to 22 million, are affected by the American Care Act, Affordable Care Act. The GOP bill is not good for those suffering from double premiums. Ghislaine Maxwell has also filed her pros petition.
Lord God.
She filed a petition for herself. She doesn't have anybody representing her. Like, yo, I think that my case should be appealed on the back of the Epstein files being released, which they're going to try and say, well, an ongoing case, they can't release files. Only about 5% of files were released, and out of it, even 100 pages of that was redacted. It's like 100 straight pages of you can't see nothing here.
Except like a line or a word.
Search bar doesn't work. You can't be like Epstein, because then it's going to be like, it don't work. Which is all was passed by Congress. So those of y'all that don't remember, Congress wrote this bill, and they didn't want to pass it. They've been hem-hawing all year long, and eventually it went to the House. There was discharge petition. A discharge petition is if the House Speaker who runs the House is like, nah, we're not letting anything come out of committee. And so there was a committee that was charged with Epstein files, and they wanted to do it. They needed a certain amount of signatures, and they need 218. So there was a congresswoman by the name of Adelita Grahava who was going to be the 218th petition, signature on the petition, and they kept the government shut down. They didn't want her. Eventually, she got in. They discharged it. Every member of the House but one voted for this bill. Then it went to the Senate, where they thought it was going to be stopped. But every senator voted to release this bill. So out of the entire Congress, only one House of Congress member, one out of almost 500 people, was against this bill. And then the president had no choice. He was always a choice, but he signed it into law. So now they released 5% of it, hundreds of pages, at least 100 pages you can't read. It's all redacted, 120 pages redacted. And this is on the back of the ACA not being extended. So that's a mouthful. That's a lot of stuff going on at one time.
That's just the start.
What? But we're gonna start there with one more little nugget, and then we can get into it. Dan Bongino, the assistant director at the FBI.
That bomb.
It's all in the notes. I wouldn't have remembered. Don Bongino. That's why I got to do these notes, man, so much. Yeah. Don Bongino, assistant director. I know who he is though. The assistant director of the FBI.
Deputy director of the FBI.
Deputy director. Thank you. Well, I know who he is. They don't know who he is, right? Thanks for the correction. So the deputy director quit. He's like, nah, man, these FBI files. He's been hemming and hawing about quitting before. They twisted his arm and made him stay earlier this year. Then he went quiet. He was one of these big, loudmouth podcasters like myself. But he was like, yo, release the files. There's a bunch of Democrats in it. We're going to prove it. He got there and he was like, he saw what was in them files. He was like, I want out. They shut him up. They threw him on the back burner. Nobody heard from him. Now he's back. He's like, I quit. And he is actually out. This happening. This is actually occurring.
January 1st, he's out.
Yeah, he quit.
Go back to podcasting, which is
he said no mas.
Which is very. If you look at the state of the play, we'll get into it. But let's start from where you.
Oh, now we live. We going in. So give me your input on some of the things that I'm talking about because you have a lot of insight.
Let's start with the ACA.
The Affordable Care Act, which I've broken down.
Let's
fire away.
Further, this was passed in 2010. Barack Obama wanted the full thing. They had control of the House and the Senate. They passed it through. God bless Harry Reid. Nancy Pelosi, I don't give her much credit because she tried to fight this thing to the president. Joe Biden had to pull backdoor deals to get it through, which gave almost 22 plus Americans who would never have been afforded healthcare and options.
22 million plus,
right? You remember around 2010, that's when the Tea Party started. They fought this thing. Then 2016, Trump won. Paul Ryan at the time, congressman from Wisconsin, became Speaker of the House after John Boehner. John Boehner seen the writing on the wall and said, I'm out of here, Paul. You got this. You got to remember, the Republicans have been trying to pass a tax credit from Ronald Reagan's era that they just kept renewing, or the Democrats will find their way to under budget it. But in 2017, the Republicans passed a tax credit for the higher percentile of the rich in America. And then you remember Paul Ryan resigned. That's all he wanted was that key tax cut for the rich to be signed off on. Now, fast forward now to present day. They made the tax credit permanently, and to fund that tax credit, something had to go. Now, if you remember, the president, Donald Trump, let me be respectful. President Trump ran on a platform, he wouldn't cut health care for anybody. But to fund this tax cut from 2017 and make it permanent, they had to do budget cuts. The first thing they went after was the ACA. They couldn't.
Well, that's not entirely accurate. With
the ACA, they did. If you look at it, right, they went after.
That's not the first thing they went after. No. Before they did that, they went after food stamp cuts. They went after Medicaid. They went after Medicare.
But the biggest cut they did Medicaid
the
and
Medicaid?
Medicare fall under the Medicaid and Medicare all fall under the ACA. That's why I'm just generalizing it as one.
Okay, okay, got you.
I'm just putting a circle together. Because if we sit here and
I
break it
didn't know it
down,
fell under the AC. I guess
yeah,
it does
because
come under this umbrella.
Medicaid and
And as
Medicare,
far
you
as
got
that
to
the
remember,
budget does encompass it,
Medicaid,
I get you.
yeah, Medicaid and Medicare all have parts to it that fall under the ACA, especially for those who are retirees 65 and up.
That's Medicare.
Medicare, and then you got Medicaid for the low percentile of Americans who like are either jobless or in disability.
That make
Even
under
with
a certain amount under the poverty line.
yes, and people with disability. That's why even Social Security took a major hit under what they did,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
So now,
All because they wanted to try and extend the tax credits, tax
which they
cuts for the
which they
wealthy.
did.
Oh,
Now,
absolutely.
then the shutdown happened. What was it? September. Shutdown happened because of this same issue. Thorne went backdoor him. Senate Majority Leader Thumb. I always mess his name up. Thumb came to Minority Leader Schumer and said, "Hey, listen, we're gonna get if y'all do this, we're gonna
Boom,
put
boom.
this on a vote." Then you had people. Then you had the backbenchers like Fetterman and other independents like King and other Democrats, a few select that broke ranks, which caused them to open it. And people were upset about that because constituents were like, "What are we sending you to Washington for?" Because everybody saw the handwriting on the wall, and then it came down to this. Now, with the ACA being cut, you have not just Democrats, and it's opened up a full-fledged civil war within the Republican Party, which have been brewing for months. Epstein, but this ACA thing now is the nail in the coffin because you have centrist Republicans who are in swing districts, not blue districts, not red districts, but actual purple districts where they are fighting for their lives. And their constituents are, if you look at the majority of the people that are members of ACA, it's majority red states. The
Well,
Republican,
not the majority, but let's put that into context.
yeah,
So the largest state to have ACA credits is actually Florida, which is a huge red state, and the second largest state is Texas.
and what is
But I
Texas?
believe, what is it, 15% of
And what is
all people
Texas?
that receive ACA
Yes.
benefits are in Florida?
And what is Texas? A red
Oh no,
state.
they're both red states.
You
Not to
go to
contradict you.
if you look at the reports that are coming out, majority of the red states are going to suffer. You got to remember they're closing Planned Parenthoods. Hospitals are closed. Like the first quarter of 2026 is going to be vicious. The FA part, the FA part has
Of the
done.
FFA, of the FOFA.
Nah, FA was November 5th, 2024. The FO part is going to be the first quarter of 2026, which
Oh,
is
when that bill kicks in
when
hard, when
it
the
kicks
bill
in.
kicks in
Because you
like
got to
yeah.
remember, the fiscal year for the American government, it ends on September 30th, and then October 30th to September 30th is how the federal government runs their fiscal year. Now, you got to remember, they've hiked up defense spending. They've deferred certain things from the defense appropriation bill that they put down with their budget to keep the military happy. To say, oh, we're giving you a budget, but the money that they're allocating from that budget is for this. Is for the housing that was originally allocated for that. Now, let me not get off topic, but with the AOC, with the ACA now, come midnight, January 1st, going December 31st, going into January 1st, people are gonna start receiving letters from their insurance companies telling them what their new premiums is. And
Now, I wanna. There's something I neglected to mention when I did the opening. That since we're digging deep into this, we have to understand that there was a committee
yes,
that was specifically targeting changing this bill. Some Republicans was like, "Yo, my people's gonna be affected. We can't do this."
12
And
Republicans, 12 Republicans. That's what got That's what got that bill. That idiot. I
more
blame
on Mike Johnson.
Mike Johnson. I blame that idiot from Matt. You know what I'm talking about, the idiot boy from Florida whose daddy paid for him to become a senator and he got caught up in a sex scandal. I blame him for Mike Johnson because they caused that vote to go down where they put somebody that's a yes man in the most powerful position in the world, where he's number 3 after the president and the vice president to become president. They put an idiot like him in power.
So the problem is, well, what had happened on Thursday was
Mike Johnson ran.
he there was 12 Republicans that was like, yo, listen, My people's gonna be affected. I can't do this in the House of Representatives. So they was like, so even though moron Mike Johnson was trying to stop the bill from coming to the House floor, much like the Epstein files. Now, mind you, there's only been like 4 times where there's a discharge petition in like the last 40 years
apart, and they've been years apart.
100 years, wow. Up until this year.
Exactly.
Now there's 3 discharge petitions. This is the second or third one. I lost count.
No, it's the second one because Epstein was first. This is the second one.
So the discharge petition, once again, is overriding the Speaker of the House to bring it out of committee to the House floor. Once they got the necessary
protocols,
once they got this necessary amount of signatures on the bill to bring it to the House floor so that the entire House of Representatives could vote on it, moron Mike was like, all right, everybody go to lunch. Basically, he sent everybody home for winter recess so that they could not vote on this bill.
Leo, you missed this part, though. You got to
enlighten me.
Maybe about, what's today? Today's the 22nd, right? You got to remember last week, they had a caucus meeting about this very bill before the discharge bill was voted, before the discharge bills were signed by the Republicans. I believe the discharge bill was signed Tuesday, if I'm correct, right?
Probably Wednesday because they left Thursday.
They had the meeting for the caucus Monday where the 12 rebels went off in that meeting. And even Marjorie Taylor Greene came out of that meeting very upset because there is, all right, you say the ACA doesn't work. Okay, it was a new thing. It might not work. Maybe it needs to be fixed. But what's the substitute the Republicans have? They don't have an answer. It's the mere fact, it goes to the fact that Barack Obama is the man that created this thing. That's all it is.
Well, now, I mean, if you listen to Donald Trump since he's been in office the first time, so about like 7-8 years. If you listen to moron Mike Johnson, even a month ago, they have a replacement once they repeal the Affordable Care Act.
They don't. That's the leak that came out of the caucus meeting on Monday.
That wasn't a leak that came out. We knew this all along.
No, when I mean a leak,
I know.
We know it because we use common sense. For those that don't,
because they didn't have anything. They actually asked Mike Johnson on 3 separate times what was the bill, and he went from saying we have one to we have an idea of what we're going to do.
And Trump was supposed to make an announcement the prior Tuesday saying,
"Oh, Trump has a plan. Trump does have a plan."
Trump wanted the same. You know what he wanted to do?
Yes,
he wanted to extend the ACA credits because there's 3 options on the floor.
No,
there's a 2-year extension,
a 3-year extension, and a 1-year extension,
and then there's the 1-year extension, which will re-kick again if they came back to vote.
It's not what he wants to do.
No, he wanted to do it, but
he was twisted into doing. That's not what he wants to do. He gave his plan.
No, Trump was the way this thing kicked off, he was so afraid because he remember on his campaign pledge, we're gonna do away with Obamacare and we're gonna create something so beautiful that we give direct to consumer. Trump's whole thing was, all right, let's extend this till we figure this out. And the hawkish guys, the Freedom Caucus chair called him, and he called a couple other hawkish people, and they made it clear to him. They said, you do this, we don't back you. Now, from that meeting alone, the Republicans was like, all right, let's pull this discharge out of committee. Let's vote on it, and then we'll figure out whether it's between a lot of Democrats were favoring 3, but majority of the Democrats were saying, all right, 1 to 2 years. That should give us enough time on a bipartisan effort to figure this out. And then they're thinking long game, okay, elections coming in November. We're less than a year away from the midterms. We can figure this out after the midterms. Mike Johnson seen a handwriting on the wall and say, you know what, I'm getting the hell out of here. I'm going to Louisiana. I ain't got time for this fool. Y'all about to embarrass me. Let me get out of here. But what they don't see the after effects is coming is that once that big dumb bill kicks into effect, it's going to be on catastrophic levels to where it's going to affect the economy on ways we've never seen before. Cost of living is already high.
Well, I like to double back first. Trump does have a plan. So you have to take the airplane view. You got to look down and see the whole picture.
I'm busy.
So here's the whole picture. Here's the real deal. They want the chaos. They want the chaos. They want people hungry. They want chaos in the streets. They want to be able to declare martial law and stop the elections. Now, it sounds real conspiratorial. But watch. His game plan was actually to give the money directly to us rather than go through
like
Any
an
type of
account. Yeah,
program.
it'll be an account, and then it would also limit what the insurance companies can do, which is a good plan. But where's the structure behind it? If you ask me why I
That
say
is not a good plan.
ask me why I say that, because Barack Obama wanted the same thing in 2010, along with the market, but he also wanted to give the directly to the American people, to where it limited how the insurance companies could charge. And then
Well,
with that,
if he limited the charge, that'd be one thing, but he's not doing that.
and no, because the thing with Trump now is Trump's whole thing is a vendetta against the insurance companies. It's not on another level. And if you look at how they're discharging this thing, the whole healthcare system, my fear is going to implode.
Absolutely.
Like how Enron and Arthur Anderson did in the early 2000s, that led to the downturn of the housing economy. My fear is that this fight for healthcare is going to implode, and it's going to trigger other things where there are fault lines in the economy, which Jerome Powell has warned about since the summer, but nobody listens.
Oh, there's some people listening.
And the scary part is not enough, because the scary part is if healthcare implodes, that's a major part of the economy that could be affected. And once that implodes, you're going to see employers are going to start making decisions based on the cost. You have to,
Have to.
as it's business, not personal. When employers start making decisions on the cost, we're going to see a lot of positions
This could
that
trickle down.
it's going to trickle down to where now we might see layoffs in major companies. With the layoffs now, job market, the job numbers, and you see the job numbers, they didn't
Which is
even
going to
create
make unemployment skyrocket.
it already is skyrocketing right now.
Well, let's talk about unemployment for 1 second before we get back into that, because I have to give some context to the unemployment, then we can get back to it. So, the unemployment rate as of September, when they had to reevaluate the numbers, because when they give the job numbers, they're giving an estimate of what they think it is,
They're not giving it in
and
real
then
time. They have to adjust it maybe a couple weeks or a month after.
right then the adjustments come in.
Mm-hmm.
And so numbers went from 140,000 jobs added to no jobs added or jobs lost for 3 months straight up until September. I remember
He
there
fired
was a big thing in June, July, and August, which led to the firing of this petition that was in charge because the job numbers were revised to such
so
a
many
degree
times,
where we really.
and they tried to say, "Oh, she's a Democrat," but that's not the case. They're going by the raw data as it's coming in at the time.
So the revisions came in and it was a net loss of jobs to the tune of tens of thousands.
But you have to remember, those job losses were due to
The
January,
tariffs. The
not
tariffs.
not the tariffs, and also the firing of a mass layoff of the government workforce. You have to remember, he signed executive orders to all the
Most
agencies.
of them people came back. The tariffs was the major factor.
Tariffs was a major part, but that also played a
And
part.
the Doge did help. But that's not the worst part. I mean, the 145,000 black women lost their job by that point. But that was not the worst part, believe it or not. The worst part is the job numbers were then ordered to be stopped by the President of the United States from being reported any longer. So we lost tens of thousands of jobs, and we don't know, and that was in September. We don't know the job numbers now because
and
Trump won't report them.
and
So
that's
now
going
we
to
don't know how
affect our
many jobs were lost.
country.
Now, where were you going?
I was going with this. That's gonna, with that job loss, right? It goes back to healthcare. It's gonna trickle on our economy, because the ratings are coming up from Moody's and all the ratings of all countries. With Trump now saying that we're no longer reporting on labor statistics, a lot of countries are saying America's statistics is what we bank on. If we can't trust the numbers, especially Moody's and I forget the other one, the credit ratings, is on the tip of my tongue. It's two major
Yeah, I know.
credit.
Yeah,
Yeah,
our credit rating, which is for the first time, we're not a super nation when it comes to credits for the
and it's
first
gonna
time.
drop. And if that credit drops, and then you're seeing retaliatory steps being taken by Mexico, Canada,
China,
China,
on and
Xi
on.
Jinping. We gonna get into my man. We gonna get into good OG Xi Jing. Xi Jinping. That's one very tactician that he knows what he's moving like. He's very smart. But you're gonna see repercussions that it will affect the economy. And now he's talking about, oh, we're gonna give a bonus. He's thinking about giving a check out from the tariffs. That's gonna affect us, because when those repercussions start kicking in, That money's going to hit, and that's when you're going to see that the tariffs weren't. It isn't helping the economy. And at the
Well,
end of
I
the day,
mean, it's not again. So for those of y'all who don't know, a tariff is a tax on a good. A good is, let's say, any item that comes into the country. It's a tax on it as it enters the country. So a tariff doesn't tax another country. You can't write a
you
law that affects another country. You can
can't
only
affect
write the
another
laws that
country,
affect.
but you could affect the imports of our country, which in turn affects our GDP and also affects consumer pockets.
Well, it doesn't directly affect our GDP. What it does is
In
it
a sense,
increased the cost of the good via tax as it enters the country. The tariff is a tax on the good on the item. Let's suppose you order a cup and the cup's $1. If there's a 50% tariff, when it comes into the country, that cup is now $1.50.
exactly.
So as it comes in, it increases the price. So whoever purchased it has a higher cost price now.
Yeah, and if you
So
look at it's like all these things now are going to the inflation right now is very fickle because you have to remember when Biden
for
left.
everything costs more.
Yeah, but you have to remember cost of living was a major factor in the election that put Trump back in power. And if you remember the economy in fall of 2024, the growth was job numbers were high, but economical growth was stagnant. If you remember the summer of 2024 before the election, those are the numbers coming out. Then now Trump came in. The first thing Trump did was I call it the shock and awe effect, with signing all these executive orders. And within signing all these executive orders, you seen the markets took a hit, a big hit where guys like Diamond from J.P. Morgan had to go. These top executives had to go say, "Hey, yo, wait, you press the brake. You stepping on the gas and you swerving on the road right now with your hands." And even it broke a fight with him and Jerome Powell to where now he tried to install two he tried to fire the black lady from the federal board of governors when the Supreme Court said no he couldn't fire her. Then he one board of governor retired and he put a yes man on it, and that same yes man is who he wants to put as the chairman of the Fed, which is a dangerous precedence because now he wants full control over the monetary of the country. And I'm 42. For 42 years I've been alive, the Fed has always been in two things in this country that's always been independent: the Justice Department and the Fed. They were always left to make their decisions on their own, even though the president might have a say, but the president already always deferred to the attorney general. Now, going back to ACA, with the ACA now playing a part in this, job market is low, it's slowing down. Cost of living, cost of goods are raising. They have no answer for it. It's going to. I give it till I say, and here's my prediction. I say till March, you're going to see a shift in this country that's going to be worse than Reaganomics.
1980s was bad. Crizzy. No, Trump doesn't care about anybody but himself. And it's a vendetta against the people who need insurance. It's not a vendetta. So here's the thing.
It's all about the money,
Trump
Crazy,
Trump wants power.
and
Plain and
money,
simple.
and money.
Money buys power.
Not the type of power that you wield when you're holding on to one of the biggest institutions in the world. You got to
So
remember the presidency of the United States. Whoever occupies that office is not just a title. They are the leader of the free world. Trump,
so so with that, he needs certain things in place. He needs to control Congress. Congress can impeach him.
mhm,
He doesn't want the Democrats to take back control of Congress.
you have to control
The
Congress.
Democrats are in an overwhelming push right now throughout the country. I think there's been like 142 seats that's been taken by Democrats, that's been flipped by Democrats, and
Yeah,
zero by Republicans.
and you got to remember,
So,
warning signs are there. Me and you were talking about it. The mayor of Miami. Remember we were talking about the election in Miami before she got elected. 30 years been a red seat. A Democrat has been elected to as mayor of Miami.
all around the country, 142 red seats are flipped.
Exactly, and that's the
So
warning. That's the red flag for the Republicans to say, "Ooh, we in trouble."
yeah, we saw we saw during the off season elections we saw a blue wave.
No, it's not a blue wave.
So
We seen a blue. We seen a. It's not a wave. The wave. I think if the Democrats play their hand right, will be November, and it's going to be.
No, that'll be a tsunami.
It'll be worse.
That'll be a tsunami. We saw a wave. We're going to
worse
see a
than
tsunami.
Fukushima. It'll be worse than Japan and Fukushima on high alert.
But Trump is not stupid. He pretends like he doesn't know, but he knows. So what I believe is really happening is that he's putting his pieces into place so that there's no election. How do you do that? Well, you declare martial law. How do you declare martial law? Well, you got to have uprisings all throughout the nation. What will cause that? People being hungry, people not having health care. When you have poverty, crime rises.
Crime rises.
So by taking away health care, by taking away food security, you're setting up a situation that will increase the crime rate to the point where he can deploy troops.
But you have to remember this, though, right? And I say this with a grain of salt. We're starting to see cracks in the Republican Party. Before it reaches I'm going to say this, before that level reaches to the masses to protest, we know protests are going to happen, but they're going to do it organized. It's going to be his own party that destroys him.
Absolutely.
It won't
Absolutely.
He won't be able to declare martial law because we're seeing judges that he's appointed turn on him. We've seen it with California, we've seen it with Chicago, we've seen it everywhere. ICE right now, the head of the ICE mission in the Midwest has to report to a Chicago federal judge every day before 5 p.m. And then innocent people are being killed. Prime example, the gentleman that was killed in Texas. His wife, I don't know if you heard about it. His wife was on the news on CNN yesterday. The letter came from INS stating that his citizenship had been approved. You see how this thing is trickling, right?
That's horrible.
It's horrible that he got killed. He did everything right. Wasn't no criminal, nothing. They said, oh, they did it to clean up the criminals, but look at the majority of the people they're picking up. They're not picking up Eastern Europeans. They're not picking up Europeans. They're picking up predominantly Latin American countries and African nations. Look at the 13 countries that are on a travel ban. My parents' country being one of them. Sierra Leone is on that list, where they've blocked people from getting visas to come and visit.
Yeah, you told me that.
If you have a green card, they're trying to investigate how you got your green card to revoke it. These people are playing dangerous games to try to turn America into an autocracy run by billionaires. And the way this country was set up, it won't succeed. No man is, like I told you the joke, no man is bigger than the Republic. And I won't go into detail what I said after that. If you remember, you remember.
Right.
But no man is bigger than the Republic. But the thing about it is, Americans got two, and I hate to use it because I don't like to use it, but ever since November of 2008, when America made history and showed the world that it was on a road to change, the good old boys club lost their damn mind. And they've lost their mind to a sense where they're willing to eradicate everything that our country has stood the test of time for around the world, just so it won't happen again. Now they're crying about American being a Christian nation, Christian nationalism. But if you look at the person that they're trying to champion, he has no credentials to show that he's a true believer in what he's saying. He's only using what he can use for power. And he said it in Phil. I forgot I didn't bring this up. You gotta remember Phil Donahue show in 1988 when Bush was running for election for the Bush Senior. He told Phil Donahue, if I ever ran for president, I'd run as a Republican because only Republicans are stupid enough to elect me.
Very famous clip playing. Yes, Chrissy, I got your point. He does seem to be at war with the poor, but I don't think he doesn't care enough about anybody to want to go to war with the poor. He just wants to do things that benefit him. And you could look at what he did with Elon Musk. Elon Musk donated hundreds of thousands to his campaign. Then he gets into office.
Donated $250 million.
That's what I meant million. That's the thousands. I meant million. And then what did he do once he got there? He said, "Nah, we're going to use gas cars because he's also backed by the oil tycoons."
Not the oil tycoons. Go deeper. He's backed by the Middle East. You notice
them too. It's everybody. But he didn't favor the man who put the money up for the election. He said, I know it's great. This green bill is supposed to make it so that only electric cars on the road, and you'll be the most beneficial person. It'll benefit you more than anybody in the world. But sorry.
Yeah, Yeah,
He don't
like
care about nobody but himself.
yeah. But you got to look at it also like this too. When has America ever allowed any foreign country to put a base here? The
We'll get
Qataris
into the
now,
Khazar.
the Qataris,
Um,
yeah, the Qataris are now in process of building an Air Force base in Colorado, where our Air Force, our equivalent of the West Point, the Air Force West Point, is located.
yeah, that is
That one really,
the most anti-American thing you could possibly do. Full stop.
but he's a MAGA though. It's all about
So
money.
back to the ACA.
Yeah, we've been on
So
the
yeah,
ACA is
yeah, we
going to
got a
be.
lot to go over still. So
No,
basically, these ACA credits not being extended, as you said, is going to put our economy in very bad shape. But the reason I mentioned that the ACA credits came, the extension for the ACA credits was supposed to be voted on the day before the Epstein files, and then Congress was sent home, or the House of Representatives was sent home, was because the Epstein files the next day. The Epstein files was the original crack
that led
within the MAGA
everything to
party,
mass.
and the ACA was the implosion. So the fact that these days are back to back
They don't know how to
is,
handle it.
I would say, fortunate for the Democrats, but too little, too late. Because the Epstein files should have, it could have fractured the party enough, but the ACA is going to devastate
Oh no,
America,
the
as you
ACA
said.
is going to devastate because majority of the people ACA holders are red states. Look at
Well, that's
follow the
because,
no, Leonard, follow the money of how it's distributed when the ACA subsidies are distributed from the federal government. Majority of red states get heavier ACA funding than Democratic states.
yes, and they don't seem to, and they're the only ones that don't seem to realize it. But the reason that is because when you're in a red state, basically you got farmland, you got a lot of, it's not a
The
lot of
rural area, yeah.
great, it's not a lot of great, let's say, jobs. So people go away to college, they get these degrees, and they move into these blue states where the jobs are. And their jobs present them with health insurance.
Exactly.
So the red states don't have a lot of jobs, don't have a lot of money, and don't have great insurance. So the ACA subsidizes them more. So
Yeah.
the blue states pay more to subsidize the red states into taxes, and that's where the
Then you
ACA
go
subsidies
deeper.
come from.
The
So
ACA also
basically, blue
funds like
states subsidize red states ACA.
and the ACA also helps subsidize like clinics, hospitals in rural areas. That's how most hospitals run off of the subsidies from the ACA and the
Correct.
government grants. Now with the effects, you're affecting not out to hell with the voter block. You're affecting Americans who are struggling to make day-to-day ends meet, like who are virtually 2, 3 jobs or farm. Because even with the farmers in the South and Midwest, they were heavily affected by tariffs. So imagine you're already affected by one facet of government policy, and then this policy that has been a life-changing issue that has saved multiple countless lives. I've heard Republicans go on major platforms and say, "I thought the ACA was money until I got affected and it saved my life." Now you're telling Americans basically, "F you." It's a big F you from the Republican Party to everyday working class Americans. Because now, what do you have to offer them when this disappears in January? And not in days. I want to say weeks. In days.
In a week, in a week, a week and a half at most.
In
It's
9 days.
funny. Word. So it's funny because everybody's talking about the Epstein file like it's the biggest story. We're
Yeah.
discussing right now is the biggest story, and people don't understand that yet.
Oh, they'll
But they will
understand it soon.
understand it in about 2 weeks.
And
This is the biggest
when those
story.
letters start rolling out saying, due to the federal government cuts, you no longer have subsidies, so your insurance premium breaks. Or if your insurance premium is $100, they contribute a full 500, and that's per member of your household. So imagine now
Yes.
if you're married and you got 4 kids, that's 1,600. That's like anywhere from 800 to $1,600 just to cover subsidies for children, not including your rent or your mortgage, not including
Hold
your
on. I wanna touch on that because here's where the numbers come together. So
Mhm.
you said that could be like $3,000 a month just for the subsidies, right?
Yeah, it depending.
But Donald Trump's plan was he wants to give you $2,000 for the year.
That 2,000 don't do beg your pardon.
Right. That's his plan, to give you like $2,000
So
when
here's
that
the
doesn't
thing,
even
right?
cover your ACA subsidies.
So then it goes back to what I was saying before. It's the start of an implosion.
Absolutely. It's the middle of an implosion. It's the part that goes. It's the
It's the
the
part of the
fuse
way
is
where
running down the wire.
nah,
This is the
this
part
is
that goes
where
boom.
the fuse goes boom. You know when the fuse burns out before it causes a mass explosion, it gives that little
Yeah,
first boom, like it's like then it goes boom. The
we're in a
truth's about to
bad spot.
happen.
We're in a
But
bad spot.
but
So,
bad
but
spot is an
we've
understatement.
been talking about this 40 movie. We got a little bit of other things to talk about. Let's move on. The Epstein files.
Oh,
Holy macanoli.
man, that's the thing.
So,
You know, that's the bend that I ain't
so
eat.
here's the thing, right? Here's my question.
Mhm.
If we know Donald Trump spent hours alone with a 15-year-old girl while she was being trafficked in the house she was being trafficked in,
Mhm.
and this is what came out in the file so far,
Mhm.
and this is what is out, what the hell are they redacting?
You got to remember. Let's go back to May of this year. You remember when the story broke that Pam Bundy, the Attorney General, went to the White House and closed the door in the Oval Office with the president and his chief of staff and Cash Patel, the FBI director, Cash Pa idiot, the FBI director, and told the president, Mr. President, your names are in those files, heavy. You've noticed since then, the Epstein files have caused the Republican Party to splinter, where Trump has basically lost the women vote of the MAGA party when he lost to one of the biggest firebrands that who should have been around to help them go into midterms. Marjorie Taylor Greene turned. Remember, she was one of the biggest mouth. She was the biggest bullhorn
Mouthpiece.
mouthpiece for Trump. After she met with the Epstein victims, remember she came out of that room literally in tears. When she walked out the room and got in front of those mics, I was like, "Oh, this is the beginning of the end of Megan." Then, once the victims started talking, you started putting names with voices and faces, and these women were talking. As men, we all got. I might not have children, but you have children. You got wife, you got sisters. You come from a woman. It makes you think like, what don't we know that they're hiding? What's so deep? And I think it's
I
deeper
mean,
than
so
I just
I'm gonna say it again.
yeah.
He spent time
I
with
think
a
it's deeper than
15-year-old
them.
girl while she was being trafficked
I think it's
alone
deeper than
in the
Trump.
place she was being trafficked. So what did you go to Epstein's whole house with a 15-year-old girl who was being trafficked
You
as a
gotta remember
sex
these rich
slave?
guys moved in circles together back in the
So
80s
what
and
was he
90s.
doing there with her? This is while she's being trafficked. So
Listen,
what was you doing there? He didn't come out and tell nobody, so what was he doing? Later
exactly.
for all of that. This is what's released. So if that part is being released, what is I mean,
You're not. You
another thing that was
remember? All right,
released.
I'm about to throw you a joke. You didn't mention it. Remember when Epstein he signed the bill? Then hours later he went on Twitter and ordered Pam Bundy to investigate Bill
Bill
Clinton.
Clinton,
Who else? George Soros, his son,
right?
with the Epstein files to make it what an open investigation, so that way the Justice Department can go to court and legally say we cannot release certain files because there's an active investigation.
Right. Oh, you
Because
know what is even crazier? They started
exactly,
taking
man.
pictures that weren't in the Epstein files, just
Like
pictures
the
that were
prime example,
online,
the
and started
disrespectful
throwing
shit,
them in the files.
the disrespectful shit they did with Michael Jackson. Excuse me, I got upset a little bit. Pardon me. Michael Jackson and Diana Ross's picture. They got a picture of of Michael Jackson, Epstein, and Bill Clinton. Somebody ran the imagery through online, and you know it's gonna show the real picture. It was a picture of
Yup.
Diana Ross, her son that was in ATL, Michael Jr., Paris, Mike, and Bill Clinton. Like, come on, man. Why are you trying to distract? It's like, yo, Michael Jackson been dead going on what? 50, no, 17 years. And they're still trying to degrade this man. What are you hiding? Who are you protecting? Because if you ask me, the former Israeli Prime Minister Ehud Barak, there's pictures of him walking out with a Mossad agent from Epstein's penthouse in downtown New York a couple years back before the case blew. So
Thank you, Mia. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
a lot of powerful people are in those files. What are you afraid to release?
Well, I mean, first of all, he
And I
doesn't
don't
want to
think
release
it's
it because
just him he's trying to protect.
well, I mean, we do know that he's in over 70% of the files. 70%,
That's bad.
70% of the files, which is a big number, bro. Like,
And
damn, you're
that's
like
not a big
70%.
number. That means you've been doing things for decades that are coming to light now.
So I think he's trying to protect himself. Well,
It's
I
not
don't
just
want to
his health.
continue to
I think
beat
it's
this
money.
dead Epstein horse, but this is going to be these two things combined is going to be the fracture of the MAGA party.
Oh no,
This is what's going
it's
to.
not even going to be the fracture of the MAGA party. It's going to be their stranglehold on Congress.
So watch out for Marjorie Taylor Greene. She's a genius that I didn't
Listen, I
realize,
told you. Remember what I said to you in the car?
but she's putting on a show.
She's
She's
putting on
not
a
really
show,
supporting
but
them girls.
oh no, no. She does support them girls, but it's the Epstein file. The Epstein file fiasco has opened her eyes to make her realize I came in on my own 2 feet. I didn't need Trump to campaign for me. I didn't need anybody. I built my own base. That's it. And you got her on that side, on the right. On the left, you have people like AOC, um, Ilhan Omar, Rashida Tlaib. You got now Zoran Mamdani, the soon-to-be mayor of New York, who are grassroots people. They are showing people that the money is not going to change nothing, no matter how much money you spend. Once you know how to play, you come in on your own 2 feet and you've built that foundation, people will back you. And Marjorie Taylor Greene's coming. I don't got no other
Yes,
way.
she's going to represent the American first aspect of MAGA and have her
2028.
own movement and run for a seat. And I don't mean in Congress.
2028. Remember I said it. And the one person,
America first. She's going to
28.
be the America first party for
But we'll see.
the Republicans.
Let's see what her next move are after she leaves office on January 1st. If she
She's going to
starts
start a
moving around,
podcast and build up a base
I don't know.
and
If she
continue to
starts
build a
moving
base.
beyond the podcast, if she starts moving around the country holding town halls and talking,
Absolutely. Well, I mean, she's going to wind up, according to Miriam Adelson,
mhm,
who contributed a quarter of a billion, a quarter of a billion, was it? Was it trillion? I forget. I think it's a quarter of a
the
trillion
Republican.
dollars. Miriam Adelson, who
Are you talking about the
donated
gambling? Are you talking about the
two
gambling
hundred and fifty
tycoon?
million dollars, quarter of $1 billion, to Donald Trump's campaign in the past,
Oh, you're
and
talking
said
about
she
the
would.
gambling tycoon's wife. Her and her husband. The husband passed away. She's a big gambling tycoon from Vegas, and one of the biggest, staunchest supporters of Israel. Yes,
Her,
her
yes.
pockets run deep.
She said that if Trump runs for a third term, she will pay a quarter of $1 billion for that too.
That won't happen.
So now you have one of his biggest supporters talking about a third term, and he said yes.
He won't be able
And they
to.
started chanting third
Listen,
term
they
afterwards.
could chant third term all they want. He makes that mistake, you'll you'll see how fast the Republican Party. You'll see how fast this country turns upside down. And if
No,
they're
his party wants him for a third term. This has
no,
been a plan from the beginning. I've been reporting on this since
yeah, it
March.
has been, but you have to look at it now. The court's already telling him he can't do it. And in order for them to even try to go third term, you have to go and gut out the Constitution, the 25th
No,
Amendment.
absolutely not.
Yeah, you do, because in the Constitution, under no right after April of 1945, you got to remember,
22nd Amendment.
FDR was four-term president. After he died, they put in there that no president can run after serving 2 terms as president, whether consecutive or separate. Because Trump is the second president after Cleveland to have to be 2 terms. And the funny thing was, Cleveland was
A split in
25
their
and
terms.
yeah, Cleveland was 25 and 27. Trump was 45 and 47.
So here's the thing.
It won't
If
happen.
3/4 of the states
It's
agree
about
to it,
35 states.
the
And
Constitution can be ratified,
as,
amended.
you, as
Can
you've
be
seen,
you,
a few Republican states have turned on a gerrymandering map. Indiana was the first heavily Republican state to tell Trump go sit somewhere.
word. For y'all who don't know, there's been gerrymandering, or they call it redistricting war going on. Started in Texas when Trump called and asked the governor of Texas, Greg
Abbott.
Abbott, find me five beautiful congressional seats.
And then Gavin
And
Newsom
they
turned it up and got more seats for the Democrats with their election. They did it legally. The people spoke.
California, right. And so
Indiana
they've
turned
been trying
around.
to find more seats throughout the Republican Party.
He tried to disrespect the governor of Indiana and the Republican Party. And the Republicans in Indiana said, "We don't give a damn who you are. You don't tell us what to do. We're not stealing from the American people. We want everybody's voice to be heard." And that thing passed unanimously. And that right now has a lot of Republicans on edge because if Indiana could do it, everybody else gonna fall in line. But to say we're gonna put up a fight, and the gerrymander issue won't get them far because the way this is going, cost of living is going to be a major effect come November. Healthcare,
Right. That's going to
you think it's
be
cost of
that's
living
going
in
to be the thing
healthcare,
that ruptures the party completely.
and,
Uh,
or this war he's trying to fight in Venezuela.
we got to get to that.
That one is just ridiculous.
So basically, right now he's announced that he wants to run for a third term and made it official. He's been tap dancing around it for 6 months. Now it's become official with one of his largest donors actually saying, "Let's do it." Trump's failing regime, Kristi Noem, Kash Patel, Pete Hegseth, since you brought it up.
Pam Bundy.
Oh, I didn't put Pam Bundy on this list. I'm slipping.
She's on that list. Pam Bundy.
She's definitely on the list. I didn't write it down. My bad.
Who else? I feel bad for Mark. I don't feel bad for Marco Rubio. Linda McMahon at education. You have a bunch of rich.
Well, she's not failing yet, but these people are all people that Trump is having to turn on because they were put in place. We knew they were lying when they was going for their positions, and now they're doing exactly what we expected, and each one of their departments are falling apart. Kristi Noem getting private jets, Kash Patel taking private flights, and Pete Hegseth with Venezuela.
Let's talk fact. Let's start with the most important one: defense. Two things you don't play with in the United States of America: Foggy Bottom and the Pentagon. After those two things, you don't play with Langley and you don't play with Bowie, which is the CIA headquarters and the NSA headquarters. From the start, what experience does any one of these people have? His entire cabinet from top to bottom. Marco Rubio, I'll exclude out. Even though I don't like Marco for his yes man business, but let's exclude him out. Marco Rubio built his name in the Foreign Affairs Committee as senator in the United States Congress. So he's qualified. I'll discharge Marco Rubio out. What do these guys have? Pete Hegseth is a failed journalist. That's a drunk and an accused essay person who wrote a book about a bunch of nonsense.
And I'm an alcoholic, so the fact that he's an alcoholic shouldn't be a reason to attack, except for the fact that we know he's still drinking.
But listen, I have friends that are alcoholics that are recovering, and I respect that.
Yeah, that happened this week, Frizzy. I'm sorry, go ahead.
But Leo, you don't put those type of people at the number 5 position in the chain of command. After the president, vice president, House Speaker of the House, President pro tempore of the Senate, Secretary of State, Secretary of Defense is number 6.
Absolutely, Mason. That's correct.
The Secretary of Defense, after the president, is the number 3 person that holds codes for the nuclear code bombs of this country. President, Vice President, Secretary of Defense, Chairman of the Joint Chiefs. Those 4 people are the first 4 people that hold the nuclear codes, that when the president needs a second person to sign off on the codes, they're the ones that break the code key cards. They walk with their own footballs. You don't have you read his book? I like to do research on people. I might not like you, but I'll do my research. The first thing he did was come in and fire 2 qualified people from the Joint Chiefs of Staff. You fired C.Q. Brown, who's a highly decorated fighter pilot, rose through the ranks, not no DUI, actually rose through the ranks, was promoted by Trump as Chief of Air Force Staff. that put him on the Joint Chiefs and was later promoted by Biden to be the second minority chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff. Admiral Fuchinelli is CNO of the Navy, very decorated female naval officer.
DEI hire, right?
She's not even a DEI hire. You know where?
No, that's what he said. That's what he said, though.
What
That's what he said when he
she
fired her.
came from when she was raised in the ranks to CNO?
I don't remember.
The
No.
commander of the 7th Fleet.
Right.
You know where the 7th Fleet? For those that don't know where the 7th Fleet covers, she's covering China, North Korea, parts of Russia, and Japan under the 7th Fleet.
Right.
When wars break out, the 7th Fleet is the first fleet they dispense.
The first line of defense. Yes. Prior Navy.
Not after the Navy's defense, but the first is Fort Bragg. The Marines are the first 100,000 to ship out.
Marines is a branch of the Navy. When they ship out on naval ships.
Yes. You take those two qualified people off the list. You stupidly, out of anything in the world ever in history, you put every one of America's commanders in one place?
Yes, had there been something devastating there, then
you put them in Quantico, and you not only put them there, you don't call them for anything logistical, tactical. You call them to come be political?
Craziness.
Then you have the nerve to tell these people that have served decades in service of this country,
fat and out of shape,
sacrifice their children, their wives, their lives to dedicate it to this country, that if you don't like how we run this, you can retire or get the hell out. Boy, if you don't go sit down somewhere, then you go into Pentagon and then you strip all the media out and put all right-wing media in, and then tell the media they have to sign a paper saying they won't leak anything. So basically, this government has come in and tried to shut down the fourth estate, which is the media. Cool.
By the way, if you're enjoying the content, like, share, subscribe, join the critical thinking community. I'm your host, Leo. I've been doing film for about 15 years. I've been doing television commercials. I'm in the middle of putting together my first independent film. If you want to support us, down in the description box, a link to our Kickstarter. All right, back to the regularly scheduled show.
But, like, let's be honest, right? That's defense. There's infighting.
I see that, Olivia. I understand. And thank you, Leo. My apologies. There's people in the chat box, and I'm responding to the people in the chat box. I'm just giving love. They're giving us love. I'm giving them love back. Yeah. Thank you, everybody.
Let's go to Southcom with the whole Venezuela issue.
It does feel like that, Olivia. Go ahead.
You see now, let's look at Venezuela, right? Southcom. Well, the black commander he had 2 years on the job left. He retired immediately. Then it comes out weeks later that him and Hegseth got into it. Hegseth, if I give you an order, you better damn carry it out. And the admiral told him, "You're a captain. I'm an admiral in the United States military. Who are you to order me to tell me if not to counteract your command if I know it's wrong?" Then 2 weeks after he resigns, Hegseth orders a double tap on survivors of supposed narco boat ships that kill people in the water. They've killed hundreds of people within the 4 months of they put in a quarantine around Venezuela. Okay, fine. Then after that, now the president backed away. First they said, "Oh, the president ordered." The president, Donald Trump, quickly said, "I didn't order a double tap." It comes back that Hegseth ordered a double tap from the Situation Room in the Pentagon. Then
he said, "I didn't do it. It was the captain. He makes the decisions, and we support him."
But the captain said, if you look at the admiral, the head of Southcom was on a headset, and these are recorded facts that the Gang of Eight has heard, the Intel Committee has heard, where he's asking for permission to double. It was ordered double tap, and you could hear Pete Hegseth on the recording saying, "Kill the fuckers now."
I did not hear that. Wow.
Yes.
When did that come out? I missed that one.
It didn't come out. The intel, the report was sent to the Military Appropriate Committee for the U.S. Armed Forces. The Armed Forces.
So then we have to say allegedly. We have to say allegedly because we haven't heard the recordings ourselves.
But these are senators who are saying it. Both sides of the House and Senate. Republicans have cried for video to come out of these recordings. They refuse to release them. Say national security.
Cool. Ratian, I have to say that you're wrong because the ACA subsidies expiring and Epstein files becoming a law and the entire Trump administration breaking that law by not releasing them by their deadline are things that have never been done before. It's never
What
been done
president
that the
has the nerve to
executive
tell a
branch
judge that they're not going to do
that
something?
goes against the Supreme Court. It's never been done that ACA subsidies, something like that, that can affect tens of millions of Americans and cost them health care, their lives, because they can't afford medicine. Nothing like this has ever been done before. This is the most upsetting
Unprecedented.
time in possibly American history. Next to next to when they ran up on January 6th, which we'll get to shortly.
Yeah, and then you Christy Nome as ICE director. What has she done? They're just basically hiring anybody. They're hiring people with criminal background records.
Yo, you 45 years old, you ain't never done nothing but play video games and smoke marijuana. Come on, you hate black people? Come on, you hate Spanish people?
Come
Come
on
take a
down,
job.
ICE. We got a bonus. We got jobs for you. Oh, you ain't got to show your face. Mask up. But if you remember
What?
Christy
None
Nome,
they coming in and yo, it's crazy. You ever play Grand Theft Auto?
hell yeah,
Yo,
I
it's the same
have.
thing. You throw a mask on, you take a big gun, you smash the windshield, you point the gun
Pull
in,
up
you
in the
drag him
rap
out the
and kill
car.
who you want. Look at the lady in Chicago that was on her way to work, minding her business. They hit her car, got out, and arrested her. Now she's suing for hella money.
Heridon, you must be new to the chat. You must have just got in because we're explaining to everybody right this moment that these, I believe, Alpha explained it better than me, that these subsidy cuts are going to start affecting tens of millions of Americans
Come
January
January.
1st.
Come January.
Yeah, because she said she wondered how much it's going to affect people short term, and I'm like,
It's beyond short term.
hell.
You're gonna feel the immediate effects, especially with the premiums going up. Cost of living is already high. Only thing that's down is petrol, and petrol might shoot up depending on what they're doing. Cause
And Jake Carter, the ACA is always drug into politics because they don't like the person who signed it into law. All
he's
right.
right, but also you got to remember these insurance companies are paying a lot of lobbying dollars on K Street. They got a lot of these politicians in their pockets, and they
Let's run
giving
to
them their
Candace
money.
Owens real quick. Let's run to Candace Owens real quick. We
Lord
head up
Jesus,
Christy Nome, Cash Patel, and P. Hegseth. Let's about. Do you know that Candace Owens says that the evidence of she went to an interview and she sat down
about a week ago,
and she
right?
got to speak with the person bringing the case. And she said the evidence of the Tyler Robinson shooting of Tyler Robinson shooting Charlie Kirk presented by his attorney is non-existent except for the text messages which don't prove anything. Candace Owens says that there's no evidence Tyler Robinson actually shot Charlie Kirk based on what the attorney pressing charges said.
You want to hear something funny between me and you?
What's up? Me and you and about the 4,500 people listening? Sure.
Me, you, and the 4,500 people listening. Let's be honest. And I'm not a conspiracy theorist. I look at the evidence from all angles. This reminds me of MLK's assassination. Because if you remember, James Earl Ray got away. They just found the. Remember how they found the weapon in the storefront after the shot was fired from across on top of the firehouse into the Lorraine Motel.
Okay.
That was one. If a shooter two, why was he as controversial as Charlie Kirk was? I didn't like him as a person. I didn't know him, but as a political pundit, yeah, I had my issues with him. But the First Amendment protected his rights to spew whatever nonsense he had the right to spew. It's
I
your
agree, Robert. This feels bigger than politics. I'm sorry. Go ahead. I'm just getting a lot of chatter. Thank you, everybody, for
Dwayne.
coming. Thank you for showing support. I'm trying to make sure to get to everybody. Everybody's giving good stuff. Weaponizing the worst people in Xbox Live lobbies. Word,
Yeah,
word. Yo, they're on Xbox playing, and they're like, yo, you can come out in the real world and good people like this. Come
nah,
on,
but if
join
you
ICE. I'm sorry.
Texas
Go ahead, bro.
assassination, to me, I think was a ploy for Mega to harshly purge people out. If you understand what I mean by purge, I'm not talking about killing on the purge level, but when I mean purge, do the numbers on how many people were fired that discussed Charlie Cook's death, right? A lot of people were purged out of their civil service. They use that as a pretext to purge out a lot of civil servants from federal, state, and local level. academia, a lot of professors were purged out. A lot of students were kicked out of school because of their comments on Charlie Kirk's death, right? And if you look at Charlie Kirk's death, it's very convenient when he started singing a different tune about Israel. All of a sudden, he became a problem, right? On the right, they're trying to hail him as Martin Luther King. That boy ain't no Martin Luther King. God rest his
You heard
soul.
what he said about Martin Luther King, right?
Exactly. We all heard. You've heard the derogatory things he said about the black community. Charlie Kirk to me was a content creator that just loved to rage bait. I don't even think he believed half of the nonsense he spewed. He did it to get attention and a rise out of people to get a conversation going. And he did it for monetary gains. Because look at the guys he was around. Look at all the stuff he said, right? I treat Turning Point America like I look at Turning Point America like I look at the Bloods and the Crips. And I know you probably sitting there like, damn, Alpha, what you mean by Bloods and the Crips?
I did say that to myself.
Look at their membership's involvement. Look at the majority of the people that are part of these things. They're people who've never had political ideals, never really, like, I grew up in a political, news was an A+ thing, and critical thinking was something in my house my mother instilled in us. But most of these people are just finding a place to belong. Just like with the Bloods and the Crips. They're looking for protection. They're looking for a place where their ideology can be protected and they can say whatever they want. Look at Turning Point America, how it is spread from just a YouTube channel to now they really have political influence on our campuses, our high schools, our critical thinking in classrooms. Hell, they're even challenging teaching curriculums. Charlie Kirk, before he died, if you look at how many professors he had fired, it'll amaze you like, wow. So I don't look at Turning Point America as no different than I look at any gang in America. Because it's all about belonging and self-identification. But how long will it last now? Because the mastermind behind all of this is gone. Erica Kirk can't keep this thing together. Ben Shapiro and Tucker, let's be real, Tucker Carlson put Charlie Kirk on the map, if you ask me.
That's what it seems like, right? That's accurate.
And you've noticed that ever since Tucker Carlson has started, his eyes have been open on Israel and what's been going on with American politics, how Israel has an influence on American politics. You notice that it's been a lot of clashes on both sides. Trump,
Israel being the fact that they fund both sides and they hold the control. So it does look like a setup, and I have to agree with Candace Owens.
it is, but with
Real
Candace
thing.
Owens, though, it's like the boy that cried wolf. I could take her seriously, but there's certain things I'll take her seriously on, and there's certain things that I have to take as a grain of salt from her.
Oh yeah, she's definitely
Like I was watching an interview last week with Tiffany Cross and Joy Reid. And it amazed me when people like Candace Owens, even Stephen A. Smith.
Candace Owens with a tie on.
Yeah, not even that. Stephen A. Smith is.
He's from Queens too. He's from Hollis, where I used to hang out.
Man, Hollis need to dishonor him because to me,
They love him.
No, with him, Stephen A. Smith to me is.
Hello, Cool J from Hollis too.
Yeah, he's being paid to say to black people what white people really want to say.
He is, and you could tell when he talk. You could see it all over him.
You could tell it. He's a paid and bought plant.
Yeah, without question.
To me, he reminds me of the FBI agent that was planted within the Nation of Islam to split Malcolm.
Dismantle the nation.
Or like Ford with Fred Hampton.
Who is my hero? Y'all don't know about Fred Hampton. My dude was a Black Panther that was like, yo, hold on, time out. Yo, you Latino, yo, you Spanish? Come join us, man. You hang with us. Let's get this. Like he was bringing people together rather than the other black organizations that was all black. He was like, yo, we take everybody. The food program that the Black Panthers did, he was a big part of his development. The man, they killed him young because he was,
inoculations, the vaccines was all Fred Hampton introducing into the Black Panther Party. And have you
yes.
noticed since December 4th, 1969, Chicago has not been the same? They have not had any stability or unity in the city of Chicago since that day. Look at
Fred
yeah,
Hampton, yeah.
me and you, we can sit down and do this all day long. I'm just
Right, we're
talking
gonna stick to the topics. So yeah, we can.
but as
I'm
far
gonna
as
have you back. Don't worry about it. We're gonna knock out a couple
but
more of these
Leo,
topics. It's getting late, but I'm gonna
as
have you
far as
back.
as far as turning point is goes, we're going to see turning point's true colors come the election because Charlie Kushner is responsible for a lot of the white young voters coming out. And you've seen a lot of the podcasts that stood behind Trump saying, "Oh, I wish I hadn't done this." Now I'm seeing the light. No, you went for a payday and a quick thrill. You thought Trump, oh, he's cool. Did it? You didn't do your homework. You just thought, oh, I want to be next to this dude.
No, I disagree with you. Trump is a brilliant talker. He
He's a con
knows
man.
how to. He's a con man, right?
Please,
That's what I
please.
said. Right. So they were tricked. They were tricked by one of the. He literally might be the best con man on the face of the earth.
What did Trump say?
Trump might be. He definitely is. He conned his way into the highest office in the
The
land.
man
The
said
man
there
is
were
brilliant.
qualified people around him when they brought up why he didn't show his tax returns. He said, basically, I'm living an example of why the system needs to be fixed because I've beat it time and time again.
He ain't lying.
On stage, he ain't lying. But at the end of the
So
day, it's like a lot going on with, especially with Christine Nome, Pam Bundy, and then now with the deputy director of the FBI resigning. Kash Patel is on the chop block. He's going to be the first to go.
maybe.
No,
Hold
no
on.
maybes.
Hold on. Thank you, Chrissy. Yes, Christopher, we're gonna stay factual. Gaming, the Epstein files won't go away because that was the thing that fractured the party. A lot of people voted to drain the swamp,
That's why
and
Kash
he
Patel
and he
will be
lied to them, and it
fired.
didn't happen. That's why the Epstein files aren't going away because this is what they put him there for.
Leo, Kash Patel and Bundy will be fired.
ACA
Somebody will
chaos
fall.
usually means confusion. Well, it's going to get ACA chaos is going to get real clear because when them subsidies go away January and them prices and premiums go up and people have to pay more,
Or
and it hits
people
their
have to
pockets,
drop
they're
their
going to
health
say it
care,
real clear.
and they people
Christopher, okay. Glad someone's actually breaking down this calmly. Thank you, Emily. We're doing our best. I'm sorry. I just want to make sure that we communicate with everybody who's coming in for us. I'm appreciative. Thank you everybody for coming. We still had over 4,400 people. That's amazing. Oh, I'm sorry. I just had to touch on, catch up on the chat box.
Yeah, nah, but Leo, let's be honest, man.
Merry Christmas to everybody. Merry Christmas to everybody.
Happy holidays, happy Kwanzaa. Happy
Absolutely. Happy holidays.
And
What
the
you were
winter.
saying, man? Oh, and gosh, I'm forgetting to call a couple of people. Happy Hanukkah.
You know, I got some good Jewish friends of mine that
Word, like yo, happy Hanukkah
listen,
too. Word.
hear me out.
So
I won't hold the Jewish community responsible for what the Zionists do. It's a difference.
and yo, I got family that's actually Jewish, or people like family. Some here, some no longer.
Yeah.
And listen, like some of them are pro. A lot of them, they're all pro-Israel. To be honest,
A lot of my
I
friends
don't
are
like Israel.
pro-Israel,
I
but
don't like Benjamin Netanyahu.
listen, a lot of
I
my
hate
friends
him.
are pro-Israel, right? A lot of my Arab friends and my Jewish friends. My best friend is Jewish and my other friend is Catholic. And I'm Muslim. So imagine the three of us how we sit and have conversations.
I would smoke a blunt and sit and watch, and I don't even smoke.
Oh nah, our conversation.
I don't even smoke.
When we were in college, it'd be sleepovers in our apartment. It'd be a sleepover.
Woo!
No chicks, no girls allowed for the night.
Fire time. Let's go.
Only liquor and the music playing loud.
Oh, so that means that it all came out. There was no filter.
Oh, no, it was no filter, but we always had to
It was
understand.
peaceful and respectful.
I want to learn from you. I want to hear your perspective. I want to give you my perspective, but you're still my brother at the end of the day.
That's how we do it. All right, so MAGA, 14,000% of measles and whooping cough. It's the measles and whooping cough. Measles was dead before in this country. The whooping cough was no longer relevant. It's increased by 14,000%. StandUpForScience.net is trying to support impeaching Trump. The Heritage Foundation, which is responsible for Project 2025, 2020, what is it?
Oh, they
Project
designed
20,
it.
I'm sorry?
Project 2025. They
The
designed
Heritage
it.
Foundation is responsible for it. They threatened to strip away roads being paved and bridges being fixed in Indiana if they did not support gerrymandering. Project Heritage Foundation, who created Project 2025, told Indiana, if y'all don't gerrymander, we're going to make sure that your roads don't get paved and your bridges don't get fixed.
But you see what Indiana said, right?
I,
Indiana gave their answer back in the simplest way possible. Majority vote.
right. But this is how deep it is that it's like, oh, if you don't do it, you're not gonna have roads and
Look what they did during the shutdown to us here. The Hudson
nothing.
Project the Hudson Project to build a new rail system because the old rail system out of Penn Station infrastructure is corroded.
I didn't know that.
When the first shutdown happened, Trump told the head of the budget office, "Yo, clip that to put pressure on Hakeem Jeffries and Chuck Schumer." Look it up.
I believe you. There's no reason to you're not gonna give this information to my audience.
I'm talking from a position of stuff I've read, I've researched on. It caused a
That's
lot
why I
of
have you here.
like prime example, right? You said who did you say first? You said 14,000 measles cough, right? That's simple answer. You know why that? You know what the problem is?
It's according to medical experts, which I am not.
That's
The
just
problem is the vaccinations not
You
being.
know, smallpox is now broken out in West Africa, Sierra Leone right now. It was on BBC yesterday. You know why?
Wow.
When you
Why?
when you cut something like U.S. aid
Word.
to countries,
But fact.
you're cutting off much needed money for infrastructure that most of these countries cannot afford due to the lack of
Resources.
and they are young democracies. Still, they not most of these democracies across the world have not cracked 100 years.
Right.
And then also back to this issue with the whooping cough, measles, and rise of a lot of different diseases that we've seen
In America.
is because when you have idiots fighting proven scientific facts and telling the experts they don't know a thing, you're causing
Robert F. Kennedy and Maha, make America healthy again.
no, make America white again.
Maha, no, this guy's.
Let's be real.
He's been preaching the same song since before.
Where does most of these diseases break out in? Urban centers, urban and rural areas. People like us or poor white farmers are the ones that suffer for lack of medical infrastructure, lack of knowledge, lack
That's
of
fair.
understanding. When you start tampering with the CDC, Center for Disease Control, prime example, going after Anthony Fauci. This is a
Well, no. Hold up. Wait. Pause. Anthony Fauci went on CNN and testified that he had a lab in Wuhan. Have you ever seen Wuhan?
Yes.
But just for the audience.
But you know the Wuhan lab.
He testified that he had a lab that actually hold on. I got to see Wuhan. Wuhan is amazing. You got to actually see Wuhan. That he had a lab that actually created a COVID virus that can go from bat to human. He went on CNN and testified before Congress that he had a lab that had COVID that could go from bat to human. And then was like, no, but it's not gain of function. And gain of function literally means can go from animal to human, right? So he went on CNN to Congress and lied. Now he said he had a lab in Wuhan.
Yeah.
And they was like, oh, Wuhan, it was somebody eating bat soup. This is Wuhan. This is where they said that it came from bat soup. This area here, Wuhan. So no, I don't think somebody was in a cave eating bat soup. If he had a virus that he was developing in a lab where they had with a COVID virus that had gain of function, and that's where the virus came from. Listen, Fauci was guilty.
It was a virus. I think it was a basic chemical biological weapon that accidentally got out.
It was developed in a lab, and he ran the lab. That's the problem.
I don't think Fauci. No, the actual lab was actually run by the Chinese government.
He admitted this on CNN. This is not conjecture.
What interview? I didn't see that interview. Can you send me the link?
Well, I saw that it wasn't an interview. It was he was called to testify, and
I
he
know. Yeah,
testified.
I know when they said he asked him. I know. I saw that testimony when he said that it was a lab in Wuhan because patient zero actually died because the Chinese government kept him under wraps. Because remember when this thing got out, it was Super Bowl weekend. What was it? 2020. Yup. Super Bowl weekend when rather than lock the country down, remember Trump allowed a plane full of American citizens to fly back into California. I was in Cali when that plane touched at the Air Force Base.
I do recall that actually.
Instead of him shutting down the U.S. borders and saying nothing comes in and out and ordering and talking to other governments to shut their borders, this could have been contained, but they didn't want it contained.
So let me get this right. I just want to be clear for the.
This is my personal opinion. I feel like it was population reduction.
I just want to be clear for the audience. One or two Chinese cities, I believe, so rich. Yes, the largest Chinese city. It's the largest city in China. It's more technologically advanced. It's better. It's bigger than New York City. So what you're telling me is, I just want to be clear about this. What you're telling me is that under Trump's watch we had COVID, and now we have a measles outbreak and whooping cough under Trump. Now, is that what you just said?
Yes.
I just want to be clear.
And smallpox, because if you remember, all right, prime example.
And smallpox, right?
The
smallpox isn't an American. I'm talking about right here in this country.
But you remember when Ebola broke out, how quickly Obama responded and gave Guinea, Sierra Leone, and Liberia the much-needed infrastructure and medical supplies and doctors they needed to combat it. That really stopped Ebola from spreading.
Yes.
One thing you gotta
yes.
remember, right? George Bush, when he left office in 2009, he told Obama on the ride to the Senate, to the inauguration, he said, listen, one thing you don't play with the intelligence community, and don't play. He's like, his biggest fear, he told Obama, was an outbreak. And he told Obama.
So while he's stripping away medical care, while he's stripping away money, what you're saying to me is he's also allowing disease to spread. He is causing the most dangerous possible combination of events to occur in America, in American history simultaneously.
Since the plague.
While he's allowing a foreign nation that, even under his own watch, was designated a terrorist country to build a base here in our country. I just want to put it all together now. Let's put it all together.
More? Need I say more?
No.
You have to look at the perspective of what he's doing.
Did you know that last week my man was like, yo, I got to settle this with myself. I got this lawsuit and it's against the government, but I think I gotta settle this with myself. I think I'm gonna order the Justice Department to pay me $1 billion out of the Treasury. He's ordering
right then and
$1 billion to be paid to himself out of the Treasury.
But these
tax dollars.
When the next presidency comes.
Okay. He doesn't. He's going for a third term. He never wants to leave. He's going to be.
Everybody saying. You remember that comment I made to you?
What's that?
About executive, the length of certain things in the executive branch.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, let's not talk about things like that on air.
Yeah, but this is my thing with that, right? He don't want to leave, but he's gonna have no choice but to leave.
He's not. No, he's not. He's not going to leave. He's not going to leave.
Something.
I 100% guarantee you he will not leave. 150% guarantee.
Remember Richard Nixon tried that in '74. You know who went to? Remember who went and broke the news to Richard Nixon in '74 that either you leave or we destroy you?
No.
Goldwater.
Okay. Here's the difference. Trump is so sick that he won't be around for that.
He won't. But here's the thing. In the process of whatever they're planning, mark my words. Come November next year.
I don't think he'll be around for it.
If the Democrats play this thing right,
that's why they set up ICE agents. That's why he was trying to deploy National Guard, which got pulled out of California this week. They said that's illegal. You can't do that. Wait, time out. No.
Chicago. Mark my words on this.
California. You got pulled out of California.
If the Democrats play this thing beautifully, like they're supposed to play right now, it's a rigged deck. The Republicans have given a rigged deck to the Democrats to play. The Democrats know all the cards that are being dealt. They have to decide: are we going to go to the grassroots, or are we going to play this up stiffer lip politics? If they play it like they need to play it, the youngsters have showed them. The youngsters of this party have showed them how to win. Zoran Mamdani has showed them. Marjorie Taylor
See, now what do you think about the fact that Mondami won? The first thing he did was go sit down and talk with the president. Honest feelings.
All right, my honest feelings.
Yeah.
I mean, Hitler sat with Neville Chamberlain, didn't he?
I think that what Mondami did. I think what Mondami did was he said, "Y'all,
now,
I might not like this dude, but I can't get nothing done unless."
No, it's not even I can't get nothing done. It's let me go fill you out. You said the president sent the invitation. And remember what I said. No matter, I told you this when I first met you. I might not like my president, but at the end of the day, he is my president. I respect the presidency of the United States, meaning that as an American citizen, I will always respect the holder of the office. I have a constitutional right not to agree, protest, and speak out against their beliefs, and he has a right to speak out against mine. But I will always respect that seat of power. The president since called you go sit down and test him out. And I believe Mamdani, they both admitted. Even he said, Trump was like, I was shocked. All the things they've said about him when I met this man, I realized how smart and intelligent he was. Trump is indirectly telling you, like, oh, I know I can't play with this young boy. I'm going to have to find another way to go around about it. And Mamdani, with a smile next to the president, said, I came to meet him to make America better. We have areas we agree on. I might not like you, but if we have areas we agree on that could help people, I'm willing to sit down and hear you out and try to work with you. Now, when you try to take Vaseline and try to do me in, then you got a problem.
Well, right now, if I can help my constituents, but I'm not making a deal with the devil. But if we can find common ground. Absolutely, I agree 100%. You have no choice. He is the president. I agree.
I'm gonna go on history. I might not like Trump, but let's talk. We talking facts. One thing I respect him. I've watched this podcast. I've gone back and did my homework before I came on here. Everybody had their own time. Reagan had Reagan Democrats from 81 till 89. Correct? Okay. You think Trump don't got some Democrats like our country? You don't think he got some Democrats say, I'm never going to give power to a woman. I don't care what it is. I'll swallow my pride.
Absolutely. 100%.
Cool. Mamdani looked at it as Mamdani won on pure intellect. He didn't play politics. People want to hear the truth. That's why Trump is able to keep his base intact, because they expect him to say this. They expect Trump to be, I don't care. Prime example, look what he said this week on a phone call on MSNBC Friday. Oh yeah, Venezuela stole our oil. They kicked all our companies out.
He said that?
Yes.
Well, I mean, here on the think tank, we analyzed as soon as he attacked Venezuela the first time and knew that he was there for the oil. Man, that was a given.
Trump
is just the oil.
Venezuela, no. Before Hugo Chavez took power, you got to remember, this is bigger than Madero. Venezuela was a jump-off point for us in Latin America in the 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s, and 90s. Venezuela, Brazil, Argentina, Chile, Paraguay, Panama, Colombia, El Salvador, Honduras, Guatemala, even up to Mexico. During the time of the Cold War, we had these countries in our pockets. Right now, with the oil embargo on Venezuela, you know that's affecting Cuba's economy, right? Because Venezuela is the only country that's been supplying Cuba with oil. With the embargo now on Venezuela, Cuba can't get any oil, which is going to cause their economy to implode. Which now gives Marco Rubio what he's always wanted, a way to go into Cuba and get the communists out. You see how it all is a trickling effect?
Right, you said it's about the oil.
Yeah. And then my thing is, once they're done with Venezuela, Colombia is next. They don't give a damn about the drugs.
Did you hear what Putin had to say?
Listen,
Keep playing with Venezuela, and you're gonna find out. You're gonna find out what EU is finding out when they play with Ukraine. Basically,
But see, this is the thing though with Ukraine. All these things that are going on in Ukraine is all leads back to Trump.
absolutely. Well,
Trump had
kind
all,
of.
Trump tried to use Zelensky to try to get Biden out in 2020, and Zelensky didn't fall for it. And then Colonel Venmar, I forget what's that guy's name, the twin, where they had to cause both brothers to retire from the military. They're on the rise. They would have been generals. You know what I'm talking about, right? That whistleblower from the NSA, his brother Colonel Vindman, his brother, him and
Okay.
Alex. I forget the other one, the one that ran for Congress and won. Zelensky, if Trump had armed Zelensky back then, we wouldn't have had a Ukraine problem.
No, he wants Putin to win.
Trump
And then Putin
Trump
flips
is
on him
showing.
above Venezuela.
I don't know whether if Trump is compromised or he just in love with Putin.
Well, didn't you hear what happened in the Epstein files? Trump has something on him. There's a man.
Putin got
Apparently,
something.
Trump gave fellatio to a man named Bubba, and Putin has the pictures.
And Bubba ain't Bill Clinton for the people watching. Bubba ain't Bill
We
Clinton.
don't know that. We
No, they
don't
said
know
it.
that.
They said Bubba ain't Bill Clinton.
No, we don't know that.
No,
We
no, no,
don't know
no.
that.
They said Bubba wasn't.
Who said that?
Somebody in the Justice Department leaked that.
We don't know that. So you trust now? You trust in the Justice Department, the ones that's not releasing the files?
One thing I will.
We don't know who Bubba is, but Bill Clinton definitely went by
I don't
Bubba.
trust. No, between me and you, I don't trust the Justice Department, but I will always trust the men and women of the FBI. That's one.
They're compromised because they're under Cash Patel.
I don't think they're compromised because we've seen that. We've seen this happen, but we've seen this.
And Don Bongino.
Hold on, but we've seen this same playbook go down in '74, and it was a whistleblower by the name of Deep Throat that blew the Watergate situation, right? And we later found out years later it was who? The number 2 man in the FBI, Mark Feldman.
It very well might be that Bubba is Bill Clinton. We don't know that.
I believe
actually that would make a lot of sense if it was Bill Clinton. It would put a lot of puzzle pieces together. Well, let's start with the fact that every time Epstein comes up, who does Trump point to?
Bill Clinton.
So the three of them, anytime Trump mentioned Trump's best friend, his name is mentioned, his best friend was named Epstein. He brings up Bill Clinton. It sounds like there's a personal thing there.
But because it is personal between them, man, because he felt like Bill.
Right, Clinton, it is.
I'm not falling for that trap. I am not falling for that trap. But if you,
I'm not saying it is. I'm just saying that if you look at, I'm saying the possibility is on the table. That's it.
But if you look at this also, Leo, right, from another standpoint, do you not believe that if Bill Clinton was compromised, they wouldn't have pulled this stuff on him decades ago?
So, okay, you can say the same thing about Trump. Like if Bill Clinton if Trump was giving fellatio to Bill Clinton when they pulled it on Bill Clinton, Trump would have been caught in it.
But
it's kind of the same thing. He's trying to throw somebody else under the bus to get himself out.
I believe personally that yes, Trump is compromised, but to what degree we don't know.
Well, the letter said that it's a fellatio picture that Putin has.
And I think that also you have to look at Trump's wives. They all came from the Soviet bloc of the USSR. So you have to look at it from all angles. Are his wives assets? Were they? This is my opinion.
So did his mother, right? Didn't his mother come from the USSR also? And his father was German or something like that?
His mother was from Scotland.
Oh, okay.
Scotland, father was German.
Right.
He come from immigrants trying to deport immigrants. That one I still can't make sense of.
It's easy. It's very easy. It's not about where they're from. It's about trying to maintain power. He doesn't care about anybody but himself. He's a sociopath. That's the definition. Not that I have a little bit of background in psychology, but for my little bit of background in psychology, I do remember the definition of the word sociopath. Somebody who don't care about nobody but himself. If you look at this man talking about how beautiful his own daughter was and the fact that they have sex in common, there's something wrong with him.
What makes me believe that he's part of that Epstein conspiracy. I keep thinking about that.
You mean to tell me that you don't know that he's part of the Epstein?
I thought about it, but when I think about even before the Epstein thing, they said him being in it. I always thought like, yo, why would the father say that about his daughter? Like, it never made sense to me. It never made sense to me and whatsoever. That's why I kept looking at him like, yo, is there something wrong with this guy?
Yes, there's something wrong with him. He spent hours alone with a 50, this is just one letter, with a 15-year-old girl who was being trafficked.
They need to
He
release.
wasn't there listening to her play the damn piano.
No, man, that's a code word for something.
He was there with her alone in Epstein's house while she was 15 up for hours.
Yeah.
And while she was there, she was being trafficked. He was alone with her. So there's
There has to
no
be
reason for
something.
him to be alone with that girl. He knew she was being trafficked. He went to be alone with her. What was he doing? Come on, man, stop. This is not rocket science.
It
A
isn't
plus
rocket.
B equals C.
A plus B equals C. But at the end of the day, we won't know until we have somebody in the Justice Department that has a clear mind to come out and say, I'm going to go against the president, release it. But in order that to happen, it has to be a Saturday night massacre.
It's already
So you
happening.
understand
That's why he's
you know what I
covering
mean
the
by Saturday
files.
night massacre? Pam Bundy has to snap and say, you know what? I'm releasing these. And then she has to be fired. And then it got to be a trickle effect. Like they have to fire at least 13 people for this thing to go to a level it needs to go to.
Well, it's getting late, so we're gonna get out of here. I want to thank everybody for coming. Um, I'll have you again another time. It's getting
Man, I
late though.
appreciate you. I appreciate
Gotta
you inviting
wrap.
me to the think tank, man. I enjoyed this conversation. But we're
We'll
gonna
have
see.
more of them. All right. Thank you everybody for coming. This is Leo and Alpha signing out.